Oh, good to see you again. Good to be with you. This is the Universal Family event, and the family of God is such an awesome, dynamic, thrilling spiritual reality. But on our world as a whole, it's far from being a practical reality yet. And so I want to share with you some information about a group called Camp Anytown. There's one in Arizona. There's one in Las Vegas. I'm using the Las Vegas information. I'm going to share that with you, and then going to raise some questions, even about this thrilling experience. So I'm going to share my screen first here, and here we go. Going to do some reading. At Camp Anytown, we establish young people as leaders at an early age, despite their lack of educational or personal accolades, empower youth to be at peace with their imperfections and brilliance, and equip them with the tools to combat racism and other forms of discrimination in their community. One of the discussion leaders gave me this quote that really inspired me and taught me. I just love this. I'm going to try to put it into my life. I try and make sure that each idea is heard and understood fairly, while making sure not to disagree or agree in an obvious way that may sway the conversation. It is important that a delegate feels heard and taken seriously without feeling like their feelings are heard louder than others. Delegates need to feel validated as much as possible, but not favored over others. Okay, these delegates are 70 high school students who apply and are chosen for a $400 all expenses paid 3-day seminar that is designed to make them conscious of the prejudices that they probably didn't realize they had, go through a series of exercises and conversations over 3 days that break through and communicate and you know, it's a powerful community making event. And 30 staff are part of this making. I mean, it's quite a program. So another quote that I just loved as I read the from this Camp Anytown Las Vegas site. I'm not crazy to think that I can change the world. I'm crazy if I think I can do it alone. So on the team, there is an opportunity, or on this website, there's an opportunity to see an interview with one of the leaders. And this is what he has to say. I attended Camp Anytown when I was 17 years old. I benefited greatly and it changed me. I held prejudices, whites versus blacks and Hispanics and others. I had learned to stick to my own, to see the other as them and have nothing to do with them. It was at camp that I met and hugged a Muslim person for the first time. I was personally transformed to look into people's hearts. I said to myself that day that one day I will lead this program. I volunteered at Camp Anytown for 10 years and have been executive director for the last 3 years. Was there a deeper conviction or motivation? He says, as a young boy, I clearly remember a phrase my mom said, estoy a su servicio. That means I'm at your service. It took me some years before I really understood that phrase and why she said it so often. By the way, I grew up with loving parents, but we did not have luxuries. For us, having a simple can of cold Coca-Cola after working hard was a luxury we cherished. One day, a lady who looked homeless passed by our home. My mom noticed her and invited her into our home. My mom directed me to get her a cold Coca-Cola from the fridge. My mom also gave her clothes and food. When she left, I was angry at mom and said, why did you do that? You gave her the last soda we had. We won't be able to get more for a few more weeks. Mom told me that when I say estoy a su servicio, it means I am in service to everyone who comes my way. It means to give the best of what we have in our home. That day, Mom told me that I would grow up and have a servant's heart and I would impact thousands. Mom gave me this extra push. She helped me see this beautiful gift God had instilled in me. To this day, I have gratitudes in my veins for this gift. I realized that I was not prepared for leadership in the conventional sense. I was not prepared for leadership on a glimmering platform, but on the backside of a mountain. I learned to look at disadvantages that I had growing up, not as negative, but as positive for my leadership. I did not look at circumstances to evaluate my value. In my youth, I figured I would grow up and be a construction worker because I thought that was the highest I could go in life. Then I realized that I could dream bigger. I broke a barrier within my own mindset and allowed myself to thrive regardless of my circumstances. For me, the biggest accomplishment that I bring to my leadership is that I still hold firmly to remaining humble and a servant to others. This feeling of committed service comes from my faith and my mother, and it is as authentic as can be. I picture it as if I'm watering a field of beautiful plants. Like a garden, I must take care of it, nurturing it every day. I appreciate what comes to me and the gifts given to me every day. My parents, with their wings cut off, taught me how to fly. I soar with pride and humility because I'm flying for my parents and my people. How do you handle hard things when you feel you go off track? I call them stinging darts. I had internalized my own stinging darts from inside myself as well as from outside. I was hurt by comments from others about my race, value, and color of my skin. I had to teach myself that being a brown Latino, God-fearing man was nothing to be ashamed of. I heard God leading me and realized that I needed to confront these stinging darts because I had God on my side. I said to myself, I will speak out even if my voice trembles. Values of leadership you'd like others to hear about. After working with high school delegates over the past 10 years at Camp Anytown, a lot of folks expected me to have all the answers. My work is not to give answers, but to disrupt your souls with a whole lot of right questions. I help young people see that there is a link between you and who helped you to get where you are, and it's important to honor those who paved the way for you. I come out as one, but stand as 10,000. Compassion should be at the core of who we are as human beings. If your ship is sinking because it's taking in water, you don't jump, you grab buckets with the others because we are all in this together. What does life-giving spirit mean to you? Vida, viviendo mi vida, living my life. To me, vida is much more than a Spanish word. It is a symbol that says I belong here and I'm going to do the best I can while I'm here. Living my life not just for myself, but for humanity. Your words are powerful, Rico. Can you tell me more about this gift with words? My father sold peanuts to put food on our table when I was growing up. He still sells peanuts today. When I was little, he would stand me in front of his peanut cart and tell me to yell, "Peanuts, come get your peanuts." I became an orator at a very young age. I still honor the sacred presence of the peanuts because it provided a way of life for me. My compassion and inner strength is strongly linked and reinforced my ancestry and history. Thank you so much, Rico. May you involved continue and fulfill your aspirations in peace. Okay, now that's what I really wanted to share with you and emphasize most of all. But you know, if you talk to a person who's spent a career as a philosopher, you're going to get some other thoughts as well. And I just want to share some questions, some reflections on some of the work that's been done in the last couple of years, where students have gone forth and this is some of the story that I want to reflect on that. And I should put it this way. The Next Wave initiative was created in 2019 by former Anytown delegates who wanted to establish more opportunities for young people to speak for themselves and were willing to disrupt the status quo. Our message is clear. We are no longer asking for permission. We're simply giving the world notice that we have arrived. Now, I'm concerned about that because the language on its surface, I don't know these people. I don't know what their attitude is. I don't know how much they would listen to me if I were, within reach. But, this disrupt the status quo has an implication in it to me. And that says that the way things are now, it's completely rotten from A to Z. Well, that's not what people honestly mean, but that's the impression that this language gives. And I want to raise a question about that language and about the implications and how serious the people are. I'm willing to listen, but I'm willing to speak too. And no longer asking for permission, we're giving the world notice that we have arrived. Now, I had seen, before you saw me erase it, there's a false dichotomy here. Just asking for permission, being meek before men is one extreme, and then self-assertion is another extreme. I think self-assertion is dangerous, and the dangers, I won't go into them now, but I want to suggest that, we're giving notice that we have arrived, that between what I regard as extremes, dialogue with me, heal my ignorance, I think there's more than just those. I think there's a false dichotomy, is what I'm saying. Now, in April 8th, 2019, Camp Anytown, Las Vegas joined Make the Road Nevada and the Nevada Youth Activist Alliance for their inaugural NYAA Youth Activist Lobby in Carson City, Nevada. Together, 200 youth activists marched towards Nevada's state legislature and met with their elected officials. I just love that. I just absolutely love that. To inform them that they expect serious, bold, and immediate action on issues affecting their community. Now, that's where I feel, I honor the courage. I honor the boldness. I need more of that. I need to learn from these people. This is not the first moment I'm interacting on these issues with this kind of group or that kind of group or that individual, and learning, and yes. But the fact that you've gone through training that has broken through prejudice and liberated your experience, your spiritual and social and psychological breakthrough experience in 3 days. And that in itself does not qualify you to judge about policy. Policy, and I do not wish to disqualify anyone who's got a voice to offer. But one of the things that I know is that there's a trap. And it's a trap to think that because I know I've got expertise on a bunch of other things where I don't have the knowledge and I need to come as a listener. Policy needs a knowledge of history with a philosophy of history, complexity in it. If you just get one vision of the history from one point of view, you need another. If one left, one to the right. And it's not as simple as just polarized opposites. There needs to be research about this and that. And to expect a legislature to take immediate action is to presume that there's nothing else on their agenda that's compelling enough to allow yours to wait. And some things have to be done as soon as possible, and some things take time. There's a revolutionary approach and an evolutionary approach, and I mean, they talk to each other and they can learn from each other, but you know, each has its moment and each has its wisdom. And so all I want to say as a footnote is that how wonderful. I wish I could be part of Camp Anytown. I would learn so much. And at the same time, you've heard my comment. All good to you. All good to you today and forever and ever and ever. And as I often say, no matter what's going on in your life or in our world, always know that you are an infinitely loved son or daughter of the living God. Good day.